Hi, and welcome to another exciting episode of GFC TV. I'm your host, Beth McLean, and on today's episode, we're going to make pizza. We're going to try 3 different types of pizza because gluten-free flour can be a little bit different, and we're going to learn the techniques of what it takes to make 3 delicious different pizzas. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to make pizza, and the first one we're going to do is made with cauliflower as the crust. There's no flour at all in this. So if you're on the keto diet or the South Beach diet or an Atkins diet, or you're just trying to avoid carbs, this is a great one. And cauliflower has a lot of fiber, it's high in vitamin C, so it's really packed with a lot of nutrients for you. So the first thing we're going to do is take about 2 pounds of cauliflower and we're going to pulse it in the food processor to make what's known as cauliflower rice. So we're just going to take this, do a couple of quick pulses, and to make sure it's even, I'm doing it in 2 batches. So I'm going to take this batch out. And now we'll do the second amount. Nice and quick and easy. Nice fresh cauliflower, so healthy for you. All right, and you'll see that it actually does have a consistency very much like rice. So that's very easy. Throw that in there. I don't need to wash this because we're going to be adding this back in. And now I need to put this in the water, and it cooks for about 5 minutes with 1 inch of water in the pot. Give it a quick stir. Now, when we're done, we're going to dump it out and into a colander with a towel. This is a really important step because we need to get all the water out as much as possible. So you need to let it cool or you'll burn your hands because it's quite hot. This is one that we did earlier. And we're just going to squeeze all that water out of there, as much as you can get out. The more you can get out, the drier your crust will be. But this is a very important step, so it makes a nice, mushy, wet, clumpy type of dough. Now to this, we're going to add 1 beaten egg, a 1/3 of a cup of mozzarella cheese, shredded. And this is a combination of some beautiful dried herbs from our friends at Organic Spices Inc. We've got some oregano in here, we've got some parsley, and we've got some basil. Let's put all that in there. Now we're just going to mix this. Just pulse that a few times. And you can see it makes a very wet dough, but that's all right. That's sort of how we want it. A regular pizza pan, and I've got it covered with some foil. You can also use parchment paper. Have a little bit of oil on here to make it release. Just going to take all this dough. Time to get our hands dirty. All this dough. Literally place it into place. I'm just going to make a dough out of this, but boy is it delicious. Make a little bit of a well for your ingredients. This is actually a dough that you'll be able to pick up and eat. And there's our crust. The hard part's done. We've preheated the oven to 400 degrees, and this bakes for about 20 minutes. All right, and when we come back, we'll be able to put on our toppings and our sauces and cheese. And welcome back. Our cauliflower pizza is ready to come out of the oven, so we're going to take it out and add our sauce and toppings. And it looks fantastic so far. We're not even done. Just take our sauce, just a little bit on there like that. And again, This particular type of crust is very low in carbs, very high in nutrients. Of course, you can make this a white pizza if you'd like, with some mozzarella mixed in with some ricotta cheese. And any toppings that you like. The great thing about this type of pizza is you certainly can make it to taste. All right, spread that out a little bit. We're gonna put on some roasted green peppers. And here we have some sliced up sausage. Just a little sprinkle of cheese on the top. I'm gonna put that back into the oven, and that'll bake for another 5 to 10 minutes until the cheese is nice and bubbly and hot, and it'll be ready to eat. When we come back, it'll be time to slice up our pie. Our cauliflower pizza is done, and we're gonna take it out of the oven. See our final result. That smells fantastic. That is a nice looking pizza. Just give it a quick cut. These cut really nicely and easily. What a great little pizza. And again, low carb and packed with nutrients. This is our gluten-free cauliflower crust pizza. And welcome back. We're going to make our second pizza today, and I've decided it's called the St. Petersburg pizza. This one also is very low carb. We're going to start off with melted mozzarella and melted cream cheese. So we've already put that in the microwave. It's a very melted type of consistency. I'm gonna put that in our food processor. And this one, the only flour that we have is an almond flour. So it's a really nice, rich, nutrient-dense almond flour with plenty of protein in there. We've got 1 egg beaten. We've got our fabulous spices from our friends at Organic Spices Inc. Put that right in. And then this is our sea salt. I like to use Mount Cecilia sea salt. It's actually from Italy, and it's just got a wonderful texture to it. So I'm going to throw that in. This is, again, throw everything in here, turn it on, and we're going to pulse it a few times. This is going to feel kind of wet, not like a typical pizza dough that you're used to working with, but that's all right. It's the same type of thing. We're just going to put it on here. This is also a piece of foil with some oil sprayed on it, just to allow for some quick release. Get all this out of here. Now this is the same thing. We're just going to mush it into place. It's very sticky, but that's all right. Again, the same type of thing. You just make a basic circle with it. If it's too sticky to use, just use a little bit of flour on your hands. If it's a little bit too sticky, we're just going to put a little bit of almond flour on the top. Just continue to spread it out a little bit, just so that you can work with it. A little bit of consistency there. It is stickier than you're used to, but that's all right. All right, I'm going to put this in the oven, and this will bake for 8 minutes. We're using a convection oven, which doesn't require preheating, but when you do your own at home, make sure that you preheat your oven to 425. This will cook between 8 and 10 minutes, and when we come back, we'll pull it out and put our sauce and our toppings on. And we're back. Now we're going to take our St. Petersburg pizza out of the oven and do the same. Put on the sauce and the toppings and our cheese. Just before you bake this, you can take a fork and poke it if you don't want any bubbles, but I never mind them. All right, this one looks amazing as well. Again, and this particular pizza tastes an awful lot like regular wheat bread. You'll be amazed at the chewy crust with this, and it just has a delicious flavor. Just throw some cheese on there. You can use a pesto sauce, you can use a marinara sauce, meat sauce. These pizzas are great because you can make them to taste. Right. Goat cheese is another option. Sometimes people like 3 or 4 different types of cheeses. That's the beauty of making your own food. Put a few more of these toppings on. All right. And this one will go back in the oven for about 10 or 15 minutes. Again, just until the crust is looking brown and our cheeses are nice and browned. Just put a little bit of this on the top. All right, gluten-free pizza number 2 into the oven again. And now our St. Petersburg pizza is ready, so let's take that out of the oven and take a look at our final product. Mmm, that smells delicious. And that is our low-carb, no-flour, wheat-free St. Petersburg pizza. Hi, welcome back to GFC TV. Now we're going to make our 3rd pizza for the day. This one is made mostly with quinoa flour. Quinoa is considered a super grain and has all of the amino acids. So it's packed with protein, it's packed with all kinds of nutrients. So we're going to prepare our pan. We have a basic pizza pan. I'm just going to put a little bit of spray on there. Just some vegetable spray. Our quinoa flour, which goes right in. It's got a nice silky texture to it. Basically, all of these ingredients are just going to go into the food processor. We're going to turn it on and pour our batter right in here. Couldn't be simpler. Here's some sugar. This is our Mount Cecilia salt from Italy. Really nice texture to that. These are our spices from our Organic Spice Inc. friends. And some olive oil. That's it, those are our ingredients. This is going to make a fairly wet batter, almost like a pancake consistency. Now we're going to add a cup and a half of water. All right. Our batter goes directly into the pan. That's it. It's ready for the oven. And now we're going to take our last and final pizza out of the oven. This one is our quinoa pizza. This is one that I made earlier. One of the great things about this is you can make these crusts ahead of time. They freeze beautifully so that you can just pull it out and throw your toppings and cheese on there at the last minute, and that is about a 5-minute pizza. If you're making it from scratch, obviously there's a little bit more time. But we're going to pull it out of the oven now. This is one that was made with some parchment paper. Of course, the parchment paper itself browns, so we don't need to pay too close attention to that. And now we're going to add our sauce. cheese. And again, you can use any type of sauce that you would like on this. Make these to your taste. This one I've decided is going to be an asparagus topping, which is really nice. You can get creative. Just put these in like that. All right, we're just about there. And now back in the oven. This one just needs to brown the cheese, and we'll be ready for our pizza party. Our third pizza for today is coming out of the oven. Let's check and see what our quinoa pizza looks like. Spectacular. Look how beautiful that looks. Just gorgeous. Let's see how that tastes. What a delicious flatbread taste. Cooked all the way through, just delicious.